guys, welcome to Unicorn Vault episode 3. First couple of episodes went really well. Let us know what you think and what you enjoyed about it and what else you really want us to talk about. But yeah, Chris, how have we been going for Unicorn Collectibles? Like, what's been happening?
We've been doing pretty well. We've done many shows at the moment, and we're also going to be doing eBay Live as well. So just kind of keep up to date with our socials and keep checking them, and we're pretty excited for it.
Yeah. Now that's pretty exciting news. Like, we were doing other platforms before, but now we're shifting over to eBay Live. So you'll start seeing us uploading stuff both on eBay as a shop and auctions running there, but then we'll actually be doing lives as well. And obviously our website will start uploading stuff onto that, and you'll always see us at the shows.
Yeah, excited to be on eBay now. It's going to be a good platform for us. So I think with the tradition we're going to start on these podcasts is we're going to start continue doing games. So again, we're going to do a rip or pack battle, but something different this time. Pokemon was last time. And we're going to do Magic the Gathering. So
no, we're actually doing One Piece.
Oh, One Piece. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Bit different, but we should be doing. We'll do some Magic later on. It's funny because we've been ripping Magic the Gathering. We've been going through like a booster box of Avatar. I'm actually in the middle of trying to make a commander out of each and all the main characters. So that's why we've been heavily ripping. Yeah. But what we have here, we figured there's One Piece seems to be on up and up. And while we were actually in Japan, we found these two packs. Well, a few of these packs. Yeah, we'll see how we go. They're Japanese, but I don't think I've actually ripped one of these. I think we just picked up a handful and then now let's just rip it.
All right, let's go. Here we go. All right. Wishing good luck.
Here we go.
All right, here we go.
First pack Magic.
All right.
Rip it.
All right, here we go. There's no actual technique to this, right?
I don't know.
All right. So here we go. Here's our first one. All right. Oh, shit, I did this camera. Look at that.
Let's see if it zooms in. Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Let's keep going. I'll do it here.
What we have here. Oh, some beautiful.
Nice.
I actually really like the One Piece cards. I find them really good quality.
Good quality. The artwork is actually pretty amazing, actually. See, I like this one.
This one's a nice one.
Oh, look at this one. Look at that. Nice. Beautiful.
Oh, we had that card before. But yeah, it looks like we've pulled out some shinies.
Oh, some shinies.
God, here's a full art as well.
Oh, good.
So we've got some of these.
I've got a...
These are kind of some of the waifu ones that I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's a beautiful one.
That's nice. Yeah. Look at that. Hey,
And this one here, yeah.
Oh, look at that. Look at that one.
Oh,
that's awesome. See, like, I actually get why One Piece is on the up and up. Because it's actually good.
I find the One Piece cards are just they're beautifully finished.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at all these, the final things of these. Gonna be honest, I'm not sure some of the value on some of these. We're just getting into One Piece.
Yeah.
We just got a whole heap from Japan, so me and my son were starting to rip them as well. But that was a fun one. As we edit this as well, we'll chuck it up for some of the value of some of these. But no, I think these are definitely nice pulls. So you'll start seeing these in the showcase and everything. We'll bring them to the next.
There you go.
To the next
I like
one.
that. Okay, we'll put that to the side. Here, I'm gonna give that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess the point of this one is to talk about the market psychology. So I think that's the theme that we're trying to put in this. So where are we now? We're in 2026.
Yep.
I guess from a NBA perspective, and I'll cover Pokemon, where are we in terms of market psychology? What's everyone kind of doing? What are they collecting? Are they fearful? Are they kind of buying heaps? I guess where are we at with sporting?
Yeah, NBA? I think NBA especially, I think everything's kind of ramping up now. It's past halfway after the All-Star break, so we have a gauge of where the MVP race is. So we got Cade, Wemby, Luka, SGA, but a lot of them are in danger because of the the missed games eligibility.
Oh, yeah.
So right now, Kate is probably the top. Hasn't missed as much compared to Wemby and I've also forgot about the Joker as well. So people are starting to invest in these cards more now because MVP, obviously, once someone wins MVP, the market goes up, the value of that player goes up. So at the moment, people are ramping up the value of the NBA cards. So that's where it's at the moment. This is probably the prime time at the moment to start. The way you'll see the market going up, it's on the up now, and yeah, so pretty excited because with the next, I think we're up to 30 games left, which is this season's gone pretty fast. So yeah. But on the Pokemon side of it, what is it on the up? Is it on the down? I know things are happening in the Pokemon world.
Yeah, a lot happening. We just celebrated Pokemon Day, so kind of 30 years as this podcast is coming out. And I think I always thought that this is more or less going to be the starting point when it starts ramping up. We did see the market kind of decline a little bit during the Christmas period, so kind of a correction. But it was also at the same time, around Christmas, just seasonal, where people need the extra cash. So we saw a lot of people kind of selling their collections and kind of doing less buying. So people were selling some cards at a discounted price because they also wanted to free up cash and capital for the Christmas period. But then I think once we hit January, February, we actually started seeing it start going back up again. And now with that, we're starting to see all the prices starting to come out. And we're starting to see actually a lot of the things that are going to come out kind of come up. So we're seeing some of the older sets like 151 kind of booster bundle kind of things are coming up as well. Like I like the booster bundles because it's generally ones that people will rip. So we see that go through as well. And then we're seeing a lot of people holding. So we're seeing a lot of people wanting to buy a lot of the ones that are starting to kind of go out of print. So we're looking at the start of the Scarlet Violet era. So we're seeing a lot of people holding around that. So funnily enough, I don't think we mentioned in the last one. Around now, like we saw a couple of weeks ago, where Logan Paul's kind of illustrated Pikachu.
Yeah, that was
sold.
crazy.
So I think that gave Pokemon kind of another kind of boost as well. So
Yeah.
it kind of, so people that didn't know how much cards were worth kind of saw that, or people that kind of grew up with it as well started doing that. So we're getting a whole heap of new collectors.
Yeah, that's good.
And then whenever a whole bunch of new collectors come in, we see a whole heap of kind of purchasing and a whole heap of new money kind of coming in as well. So we are seeing a lot of the cards that are popular start ramping up again. I don't really see that slowing down as other sets start coming up. I think for the rest of the year it's going to continue to go up. Right now there's no signs of it decreasing. So right now it's up and up, but I don't really see there being any.
What are people generally holding? Are they holding more like the booster boxes, booster bundles, or even the ETBs? Are they holding either? Or it's a mixture of everything?
Well, I think people lean to what they believe. So Pokemon, I think, has become an investment. Like people are actually looking at it as investment kind of strategies. So it depends on your belief. There's a lot of people that love sealed. So they're generally the ones that would have got it cheap earlier on. So people that grew up in the Sword and Shield era, and people went into the starting of the Scarlet Violet era as well. So generally, a lot of people are holding sealed and holding it for long term, because you don't really see any crazy gains for at least 5 to 10 years for it. We have seen kind of in Destined Rivals where it has bounced nearly doubled, I think, from the averages that we saw before as well. So generally, sealed is a good one, like so booster boxes, booster bundles as well. But I think booster boxes is where people generally are holding, and generally some of the UPCs. Surprisingly though, the Charizard kind of UPC, I think, since it was kind of launched in the middle of it, people are starting to dump it and all of that. But I think it's a long-term hold if you want to make something from it. But I think right now it's just so new where there's just so much demand in it.
Yeah, I kind of see a booster bundle is people more ripping because it's more affordable, and then booster boxes people just hold and just kind of let go of it when it's at the right time, when it's get value.
Yeah. I think anything in the early Scarlet Violet era we're seeing go up already. Even some of the boxes that people don't like or necessarily hunt for. Like I love Obsidian Flames. I mentioned that in a previous episode. We've seen that box increase as well in the past couple of months as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy because like in the NBA world, it's you got your mega boxes, it's your hobby boxes that are the expensive one. They're like
yeah,
1,000 plus. And I know that in equivalent to the Pokemon world, the booster boxes can be like how much can that be like just out of retail? Not even
boxes out of retail, like honestly, but about a year ago they were probably around 200.
Yeah.
Now they're averaging like I think around 250 or 350. I mean, yeah. So, but even higher, like right now, I think Scarlet Destined Rivals, which only came out like what mid last year or tail end of last year, is already going for around 700.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, because I know that we have the what's that one called? We had one $4,000 one. Forgot the name. The name
Yeah,
slipped
yeah.
out
So
of
we
my
have
head.
so we have the Evolving Skies.
Evolving Skies, that's the one. Yeah, and that's just crazy thinking about that. Like it's $4,000,
Yeah,
and people want it. Like it's not like people don't want it. It's people are willing to spend that money to hold that,
yeah.
and it's still going up.
Yeah.
Now.
No, yeah, I think it's kind of stabilized, but it is still going up. I think the more packs that gets ripped of it, and so I think that's why people love booster boxes and holding onto sealed, just because, um, yeah, just because the more packs that get ripped from it, the less boxes there are in things versus the other way around. If you hold onto singles, the more boxes that get ripped, the more population of these hit cards come out.
Yeah.
So it's kind of scarcity kind of thing. So that's generally what people's mentality for booster boxes. I like a combination of both. Like I love my singles. I'm very much
Yeah,
that
singles are.
like we've got the stamp box Pikachu. That was one that we bought out at the time above market, and we've held it, and now it's tripled, oh no, quadrupled in price now.
That's crazy.
So it's stuff that I think as long as you know where the hobby is going and you're actually in touch with it, like I think my number one advice to people would be just don't believe the hype. There are so many cards that are getting pumped and
Yeah, that's
hyped up,
true.
and it's about understanding where what sets are getting hyped, what packs, what cards are getting hyped, and just they're the ones that if you want to buy, you have to sell it now. Like I see them as kind of pick up and then drop straight away because they're overinflated cards. Versus ones that you're looking at Charizards, the Pikachu's, the art work ones that um generally generally kind of hold their price. But yeah, right now the market psychology is I think it's very much hyped. I think it's overhyped right now. I don't see it really going down until at least end of this year, just because the 30 years. I think it's always going to continue to be hyped. I think as long as stores keep selling out, like you're looking at our normal retail stores like EB Games, JB Hi-Fi, if they keep selling out Pokemon, then the hype's still going to be there. Like once people keep once we see kind of product on shelf, then that's when we kind of know the hype's kind of died down.
Well, I've always seen like to add on to that hype. I've seen that the news is kind of catching on to that as well. I've seen that news reporters are actually putting that on the TVs, like how people are using Pokemon as a form of currency, and it's pretty crazy. It kind of adds to that hype, and like me growing up with Pokemon, I wouldn't have thought it would have come to this type of.
Yeah, no, it's reached a stage where I think banks. I think I heard somewhere or read somewhere that kind of banks overseas were now looking at it as a way of collateral.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because obviously they always kind of use collectibles to see your kind of net worth.
Mm.
So you could actually put that in when you're going for a house loan and everything. But now they're actually looking to that you can actually borrow against some of these. So kind of legalizing it even further. So it'll be interesting once that kind of passes. Where and I think the Pokemon hype kind of brought that.
Yeah.
Because I think NBA is pretty stable. Like NBA's always been there because of players and everything.
Yeah.
But Pokemon is very much hype driven because
Oh,
at the end of the day,
100%, yeah.
it's a board game and everything. So I'm just understanding where the hype is and what will sustain and what kind of drops down. But yeah, I think right now, if I was going to put one word into where the market psychology and like where people are at right now, I think it's FOMO.
It's true.
Like I've talked to so many people where like, oh, I just started collecting again, or oh, I saw that, I should have got it. I think that's probably the number one thing that I see, like when they see, especially some of the singles that we have on showcases, they're like, oh, I should have got it a month ago, I should have got it a year ago. But then now they're starting to get into, so I think the market's still very much FOMO at the moment, and and kind of a lot of new collectors just coming in, which kind of just makes packs even more scarce. Yeah, so I think yeah, so right now I think the market is pretty hyped up,
Mm.
but I think I think it's about being a proper collector that knows where the value is. And yeah, but obviously not everything's hyped at the same level. So
Yeah.
I think if you are getting into it, just understanding where to start.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
base set, there's always nostalgia, especially coming up to 30 years. I think that's one
Mm.
that is going through its season now and probably will continue to. I think a lot of the mid-era stuff, so like Sword and Shield, kind of stuff. So a lot of the
Mm.
e-readers and all of that, and then the Neo Destiny kind of ones, like I think they are going well as well. So
Mm.
just I think 30 years brings back a lot of nostalgia. So it's going through its hype period
Yeah.
right now. But I think overall as an industry, I think you mentioned it's all over the news. Like it's so funny,
Yeah,
like
it's crazy.
where the news outlets are. I think a lot of those reporters didn't know how much things are worth, but then now we're getting other vendors that are kind of on the news and all of that. Funnily enough, I actually saw on the news where there was a bust of like criminal kind of stuff, but then part of it was like they mentioned Pokemon.
Yeah,
There's
that's
a whole
true.
heap of Pokemon stuff as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's getting on the news and everything, but I think honestly, I think look 1 or 2 years ago, it probably wouldn't have been mentioned. It would have been like, oh yeah, that happened, and then Pokemon would just been a side kind of thing. But this one, yeah, they mentioned it, and it was kind of purposeful. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's funny that as also especially for our game today we ripped One Piece because that hype is going up as well. Like probably last year it was present and people were onto One Piece, but I feel like us selling it to people, more people are asking us about One Piece, which is it's good. Because you got Pokemon getting hyped as well, but then you got One Piece also kind of.
But yeah, like, and that's what I tell people at these things where I'd probably say a year ago we had where we've always loved One Piece. We watched One Piece, so we had One Piece cards, and whenever we brought it to shows, no one looked at it or no one touched it. So we actually ended up taking it out of our cycle and putting more Pokemon in there because that's what people are asking for. But then now more people are asking for One Piece and everything, and now a lot of the new One Piece boxes, like you're looking at like $1,000 for
Yeah, it is
them as
crazy.
well. Like
Even like
when
the hits in One Pieces are so like there's so much.
yeah, like I think yeah, I think that's a hard thing where now One Piece is getting to that place where one, it doesn't exist anymore in the wild, and then also like it's getting too expensive. So now people are actually moving onto Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball as well. So it's good. Like that was another pack that I was always ripping. Like I grew up watching Cheese TV and waiting for
It's all
Dragon Ball
kind
Z
of
to come out, and
taking its own life. Like it's you got Dragon Ball. Next thing you may see is like Yu-Gi-Oh is getting even more popular. It's just all those kind of shows that we all grew up with, and now it's just taking the life of its own. Pokemon's always there, but other
yeah. Well, I always say like people have asked me like I guess what's the reason for the hype and why now I think was the biggest time. I think nostalgia is the biggest thing,
nostalgia is
and
massive.
I have to say like people collect because of nostalgia. Like people collect it, like even if something's expensive, they'll bring it, and something that hopefully they pass down to their kids and all of that as well.
Yeah, I think I've seen that a lot in on the NBA side of it. Like you always have your Michael Jordans and your Magic Johnsons, the Larry Birds. They have expensive stuff as well because it is a nostalgia part. So nostalgia is a massive part of the hobby in general. More so in the Pokemon and Dragon Ball side of it. But yeah, it's just this hobby continues to surprise me as every single day. So yeah.
Yeah. So I guess on the NBA side, who are you buying and holding for long term or even kind of medium term? Like what's your advice? Like I guess if you're gonna give advice on what's your predictions for this year around that? Like
Yeah, I think holding long term, it's gonna sound cliche at this moment, but like Wemby is gonna be a massive one to invest in long term. Hold on to it, especially with autos of Wemby's because he does autos for tops, and now since the licensing has gone to Topps now, there's going to be more influx of Wemby autos, but Wemby is going to be a person you really want to hold long term.
How long are we looking at?
So he's going into his third year already. So I reckon give him another 2-3 years, and I reckon it's gonna double on the pace he's going now. Okay, I can't predict any injuries or what's happened, but on the pace that he's going at the moment, I think you can double your money or even more with how it's performing, because right now the Spurs are first in the Western Conference and even potentially the league, and Wemby is leading that, and it's on his second, third year in the league, and he's got ball handling skills of a point guard, but he's got a height. He's like 7'5".
Yeah.
So that's just crazy. So he's more of like when LeBron came into the league in 2003, there's a lot of hype behind him, and he's kind of, in my opinion, has reached that expectation that people had of him in 2003 and where the greatness how he could be. And now it's up to Wemby, hopefully no injuries, that if he hits the expectation that people think of him, then the cards that he has is going to be crazy.
No, I definitely see Wemby's cards going up in value. Potentially doubling, or even and I think that spike will come not necessarily from a time perspective. I think once he wins his first championship,
like MVP.
Yeah, and that's what I find. Like a lot of the cards that I hold, like as you guys know, I buy and sell Pokemon. As most of you guys know, I do Pokemon. But actually, my personal collection is a lot of NBA. So I find a lot of my basketballs, my cards, and everything, they've increased in value or spiked when different things happen. Like for example, like the Steph Curry ball that I have bought that cheap, and then when he started doing these milestones, like winning a championship, getting the all-time kind of 3-point records, they started spiking and they kind of went up in value for each and every one of those things. So that's potentially what Wemby. He's young. He still has so many milestones to go to, and he's on pace to beat a lot of them.
Yeah, and it's good because he's not only offensive, he's quite defensive, because since he's so tall, he's like got blocks. He can even, like, he's got a bunch of steals as well. So Wemby's going to be the one that I would say to hold on for long term. Fully short term or like the mid side of it, I would say the person that I would think to kind of invest in short term within this season is going to be Cade. He's on the pace to get the MVP as well this year. Regarding he's doing so well, assists, rebounds, and points as well, leading the Detroit Pistons into where they are at the moment. A young team as well, but Cade Cunningham this season, I can see his cards spiking. Obviously behind him you have the Joker, you have Wemby, Luka, but I can see Cade's cards going up more. And yeah, it's nothing flashy or anything. He's a team player, good scorer, and Detroit is a massive part of the NBA with the bad boys and
it's a
massive
big
history.
Franchise city.
Yeah, so I think being part of Detroit and then on the pace to potentially win a championship for Detroit, they haven't won it in about 22 years. So having that, I think Cade is going to be a good hold for this season. And we'll see. Hopefully he's on pace he hasn't missed as the least games out of all the MVP candidates at the moment. So yeah, that's my advice for people.
Yeah,
holding
I guess
Cades.
For people, especially in NBA, like I know when we go to shows and we talk to people, a lot of the people grew up collecting cards, like NBA cards, more specifically. I guess, and I think number one thing that a lot of them were saying was like, oh, there's so many different cards now, so many different things. Before it was so simple. I think we had Fleer,
definitely.
and then
Upper Deck was another one,
and then we just and they're all simple. Like we didn't have the flashy hollows, full art kind of things, different limited series. I guess what would your advice be to them to learn about it? Or I guess when you're talking about buy and hold kind of cards, what are you looking at? Autos? Are you looking at low numbered, any numbered? Are you looking at specific packs? Like I guess what's that? Because obviously a $1 kind of common, even if it's Cade, isn't gonna like go crazy. Like even if it does win MVP and all of that, a lot of those things like. Even though it was weird because we saw Wemby's actually go up, even the
Yeah, the rookie
kind of
cards for Wemby's. So that's how crazy his influence is. But I think looking at certain cards, I think autos are always going to be popular, especially on card autos. You see sticker auto, that's still valued. That's still valued a lot, but on card kind of just doubles that value because at least the player is actually signing actually on the card rather than just them signing on a sticker and then someone else just puts a sticker on the card. But yeah, I think low numbers, even out of 5 is going to be good.
How high are we going? So when we talk about low numbered, at what point? So have an example of like a 50. Obviously, a Kobe 50 is different from a Steve Kerr 50. But I guess at what point are you kind of really looking at kind of some decent value? Yeah, this is just for the new guys that are coming in. I think it's a number one question we get from a lot of the old heads that are coming through and kind of grow up.
Yeah, so if you're looking at value, I think autos is the way to go. Me personally, I prefer, and I think a lot of people will say that they prefer autos over patches. Because yes, patches are good because they just get the piece of the material of the jersey that they worn for a certain game and then put into a patch, put into a card. But autos is because it's like a signed jersey. It's just like a signed ball. You collect the basketballs with autos on them.
Yeah.
It's the fact that they've actually signed onto something physical.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to get high-end cards, for example,
You should get the logo man.
all the logo man, logo man.
It's only
those are
patches.
patches. That's the only patch I would accept. And autos is going to be the way to go. And I'll be honest, some of the autos out there aren't the prettiest autos. Some of them just look like scribble, but it gets money. So, but autos, if you're looking at high end, then that's the one that you want to kind of look at. If you're looking more towards the mid range, which is around, let's say $100 to $200-300, then we're going to be looking at, you can look at sticker autos. Okay, so not actually on card autos, or you can even do even out of 5 or out of 10 prints of they're called parallels. So what parallels are that you have your common card, and then basically you just change the color, and they might add foil towards it. So like in the tops, black is the second highest, so second rarest. So it could be, pretty sure black is at a 5, and then there's different colors. So out of 5, out of 10, those are the ones you really want to look for. And again, as you said, like a Kobe out of 10 is going to be a lot more than I don't know, like a Steve Kerr out of 10.
Sorry, Steve Kerr.
Good coach. Steve Kerr's a very good coach.
Throw him under the bus.
But yeah, I think I always look out for autos, and I feel like selling at shows, people are always looking at autos. But at the other side of it, like Pokemon, people just buy things that are pretty to them.
It's so funny though. I've been looking for an auto for some of the illustrators of like the base set, like I can't remember his name, the one that kind of Charizard and the voice of Pikachu and all of that. Like I've been looking for those autos. Like they do hold value, but I guess they're not as sought after as as sports, which is funny. But I think it's rumored. I don't know if this is confirmed actually, but they were saying that for the 30-year anniversary of Pokemon, they're planning to do kind of numbered,
So getting it from an
auto
NBA
kind of ones,
perspective or sports perspective.
Yeah, and I don't know, and I know I think Yu-Gi-Oh is doing the same, where they're going to kind of have numbered kind of cards as well. So it'll be interesting to see if kind of TCG, so kind of creating an actual TCG, because remember, like they're all part of games, so that being numbered isn't really relevant.
Yeah, and I think in people's mindset is that yes, like say the Moonbryon, it's rare to pull, but we don't know how many are printed. That could be there might be something out there where it says it's only like 100 printed or whatever, but at least with NBA, we know there's only 10 in the world of this certain card, and that's why the rarity and then the value goes up.
Yeah, I think the crazy thing when we're doing a lot of the things is some of them are impossible to get comps on.
Exactly
Trying to
right.
figure out pricing. Like I know when we are looking at kind of low numbered Kobe, there was no sell of it. Like I mentioned, because I think we have what a 15. I think it's out of 15. So there's literally no comps on it. So it's interesting.
Yeah, like I have a Steph Curry out of 5, and that's actually really cool to have. And it's just hard to comp on those ones because the comping of those, let's say the last sold is like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to sell because it could have been at $200 2-3 years ago. But Steph Curry has accomplished so much since then. And then some people actually look at, well, it got sold at $200-$300 3-4 years ago. I'm just going to buy it around that same price. And that's a hard thing that doesn't pop up in apps or pop up in anything. It's more like if you know the game, you know the market, these things will go up.
Yeah. But I think that kind of like brings back a really good point around how comps are made. And I think I've mentioned in a previous episode, but I don't think people quite get their head around how these numbers are made. It's someone who's willing to pay that at
It's
the
all
time.
personal
Yeah,
preference at this point.
Yeah, so like my advice to most people is like, yeah, you look at the comps of the last few things, but especially if there hasn't been consistent, like there are cards that consistently sell daily. Fair, those comps are pretty accurate. But if you like the card, like be a collector, and if you like the card, and that's how I built my collection, and that's kind of gone up in value where I collected what I liked.
And you're not going to sell it.
Yeah,
so.
and then people, someone will like the same thing that you like. So I think we need to stop like I think there's a lot of investment bros out there that just kind of look at comps are so hard on comps, but I think being like, at the foundation of this is collecting. So if you like the card, I'd just say just go for it, even if it's slightly over comps.
I think it's appreciation over. Okay, is this worth it?
Yeah,
it's worth it because you appreciate it.
yeah,
So like that's, I think, looking at Pokemon, that their artworks, and then people's perspective of NBA is like, this is a player I really like. I'm gonna buy that card. It looks nice at the same time, but this is the player I really like or idolize. So I'm just gonna buy their card. So I think there's a different mindset, but there's a lot of similarities in the two markets of Pokemon and NBA.
I guess. All right, so we've talked a lot about NBA, and we know, and everyone knows we're predominantly NBA and Pokemon. What other sports are you looking at? What other sports would you want people to get into, or do you see the market kind of even shifting from that?
Yeah, no, I think two sports come in mind when you ask about sports shifting or going on the up. I've noticed at shows soccer is on the way up, especially the World Cup this year as well in June and July. So the soccer, for those people, football, is the one that's actually getting some traction.
Yeah.
And since since the World Cup's on, it's going to be global, but people are getting into even like the Champions League, Premier League, and so the Liga. So those are all the ones that people are getting into. But the other one that is, I feel, these are my predictions flying under the radar, is the NRL cards, because we know that NRL went to Las Vegas for the past 3 years, and we've seen on the news that the Americans are actually getting into it. And so I think digging into the American market for the NRL is actually going to be huge. So I think NRL is going to be good for that. But football and NRL is going to be the two sports that to really look out for in the next few months or even a year as well. So
I just want to chuck in there, we are Sydney based, so apologies to the kind of people down south. We know AFL are massive.
AFL is massive. We know that. Anyway, but on saying that, when we go to shows in Melbourne, there is a big market for AFL. I think since we're in Sydney, there is NRL is people are looking for NRL, but when we went to Melbourne, we're like, oh, like something we didn't expect.
Yeah, it's funny though because I think the spark of Pokemon has just sparked these younger kids now starting to collect. Like I think collecting cards kind of disappeared for a few generations.
Yeah.
And now I think, okay, Pokemon's coming up now. And then most of them are playing sports. We know in Australia, everyone kind of plays some sort of sports growing up. So that's where I think we see a lot of the football. Like when we go to shows, especially our local shows on a Sunday, most of them are finishing their sport and they come in their jersey, like their local jerseys as well. So I think a lot of them are starting to do that. And same with NRL, where we saw a lot of people doing their local kind of sports. So I think, yes, I think a lot of people are now starting to collect kind of their things in a local space because I think NBA obviously is global and everything. So I think they are starting to look for that. Especially I think the soccer scene is not. I think it was always good, but I think it's starting to really develop. And I think just with the rise of the Matildas, obviously, as well, I think has come a generation of female
Yeah, it's true.
female players, and I think just even following the NBA as well, where Caitlin Clark, like her cards worth
Yeah.
a lot. I think
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think female sports, like and female sports cards are a place to really go because I think this generation, like the ones especially next couple of years, I think their cards will generally go up in value.
Yeah, especially the women's basketball, the WNBA. They're growing. They're growing massively. With Caitlin Clark, her cards are more expensive than more like the
Yeah.
NBA cards. Which is there's a reason for it. There's no
Oh,
like
I've been
Caitlin Clark.
I've been trying to find an auto for
Yeah.
Caitlin and impossible to find. I
Caitlin
think
Clark cards, especially rookie
people are
cards.
holding. People
Yeah.
are buying
Yeah.
and holding. There's not many of them in the market.
Yeah. So I think women's sports, but on a local, in Sydney, NRL. Yeah, I think NRL, especially in the past few years, people have seen like Tom Brady's kind of talked about the NRL, and the fan base of Tom Brady is massive. So for him to talk about NRL and how good it looks, that's going to be good for the sport. And then this year we had Dana White, the UFC head. He started promoting the NRL when they were in Vegas, and so I think NRL is on the right track. So yeah, watch out for NRL and football, soccer. That's going to be a good increase, I think. So yeah,
Nice. I think it's been a pretty good episode. I think we
Yeah.
started talking about a lot of the mentality, the psychology, I guess, in this space and time where people are looking and kind of shifting to
Yeah.
and all that. Because right now, honestly, it's a wild time in the hobby. There's so much hype going everywhere. There's actually a lot of money and people buying because new collectors coming in. So there's a lot happening. Then getting a lot of exposure in the news and all of that. So it's a crazy time. So I think right now, like, if you're a collector, obviously listening to this, stay safe. Don't get too caught up in the hype. Don't stretch yourself or anything. But generally, just collect what you want. And
Yeah,
honestly,
that's
there
it.
will be an audience for that as well.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, as we start wrapping up, I guess make sure everyone, you follow us on all the social platforms. You'll see a lot of our podcast content there, a lot of our kind of fun content stuff. But just so then you know where we are as well. So yeah, really good episode. But we'll speak soon at the next episode.
Yep. See you guys.
Peace.